Hello guys, welcome to this new video. This one is paper 1-1 of November 2019 of A-Level Math. Now let's move on to question number 1. So here we have to find the term independent of x, which means the term of x power 0 in this expansion. So if you were to expand this, as you know, that will be the first, so an nth term will be 6 choose something times the first term, and then we have to times this term, square. So what is 6? 6 is, you can say it is 4 plus 2. So we can put 4 here and 2 here for us to eliminate the x. So you can only do this by trial. So we don't know for sure. You can try and see which one has no x. So one way to do this as well is you can expand the whole thing and then verify which one has no x. But this one by trial, you will see that this is 2. This has to be 2 as well. So if you simplify, let's see what happens. 6 choose 2, that will be 15 times 2 power 4 is what? Is 16 times x power 4 divided by the times 1 over 16 x power 4. But now you do realize that this one and this one will cancel out. And also this one and this one will cancel out. So you have 15 x power 0. So this one is independent of x. The term which has no x will be this one. Will be 15 as your answer. And that is your answer for part 1. But now, hey, if you don't know this one, what can you do now? You can always expand everything, right? As you know, we use your formula to expand. You will have, let's say for example, I have this 6. Take one term by one. First term is 6 choose 0, 2x, 1 over 4x square. This is 0, this has to be 0, and this has to be 6. So second term, 6 choose 1, this and this. That'll be 1, and that will be 5. So you keep doing this until the last term, which is 6 choose 6, 2x, 1 over 4. That will be 6 and 0. But in the end, by doing this, you will find every single term, and then you will realize that it will be this term that will give you something which does not have any x. And your answer should be 15 will be the term independent of x. And that will be your question number 1, okay? Now let's move on to question number 2. So here we have an increasing function f. So when do you know the function is increasing? You can only know that by when dy by dx is more than 0. That's only when, because that's only when your curve is increasing, okay? It's defined for x who is more than n, where n is an integer. It is given that f prime of x, which is dy by dx, right, is equal to this thing. So basically, we have to solve for this. You have x squared minus 6x plus 8 is more than 0. As you guys know already, whenever you have something like this, you have to find the critical values, right? To find the critical values for x. So you have to equate this equation to 0. Then we have to factorize. That will be x. That will be 4 times 2. To get minus 6, we have to have minus 4 minus 2. So the critical values will be x equal to 2 and x equal to 4. Now we have to go back to this curve, to this equation. As you can see here, the coefficient of x-ray is positive, so your graph will look something like this, a minimum curve. So here will be our 2 critical values. That will be 2 and that will be 4, and this is your line 0. So here we need that it needs to be above 0. Above 0 will be this one and this one. So basically, what is the values that will satisfy this equation? So basically, x has to be less than 2 and x has to be more than 4. But now we have to choose between them, because as you can see, the function is only defined for x is more than something, right? So less than will be rejected. We only have to look at this one. X is more than something, and that something has to be value of 4. And that will be your question number 2. Now let's move on to question number 3. So we have a line. It is a tangent to the curve. So for example, let's say you have a curve like this, and then you have a point here, and there's a line which goes through this to this point. This is your y equal to ax plus b, and this is your curve y equals to 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 3x plus c. Okay, so it says they meet at this point. This point is given by 2, 6. So first thing you need to understand is that this point is, it passes through both equations. So let's put this here in the first one. We can find the value of c. So for x equal to 2, we know that y equal to 6. Replace, let's see what happens to this value of c. You will have 6, 2 times 2 power 3 minus 5, 2 power 2 minus 3 power 2 plus c. Now we have to simplify. That will be 6, 8 minus 5 times 4 minus 6 plus c. That will be 6, 16, 20 minus 6 plus c. Now we have to simplify. So we have to send everything to one side. You will have 6 minus 16 plus 20 plus 6. That will be 16. So your value of c will be 16. So your equation will be y equal to 2x cubed minus 5x squared minus 3x plus 16. Now the next step is you have to look at this one. If you see this equation, y equal to ax plus b. So one thing you can say is that the gradient of this line is equal to a. So m, which is the gradient of the line, is equal to a. But now, how do you find the gradient of a line given this equation? So we know that it is equal to dy by dx at this point where x equal to 2. So we can find that. So let's find dy by dx. So dy by dx is equal to 6x squared minus 10x minus 3. Now let's replace the value of x equal to 2. Let's see what happens. You will have 6 times 4 minus 10 times 2 minus 3. That will be 24 minus 20 minus 3. That should be 1. So basically, if this is 1, basically we have found out that the value of a is equal to 1. Now replace this back in your equation. You will have y is equal to 1x plus b. So now to find the value of b, go back to your point. We know that the point P is on the line, this line. So same thing, we can just replace the point P. P is 2, 6. This is x, and this is y. Replace. That will be 6 equal to 2 plus b. So b will be 4. So finally, you have found all the values that you need. So let's write this down. The value of a was found to be 1. Value of b was found to be 4. And the value of c was found to be 16. And that will be your question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. So here we have a runner who's training for a long distance race, plans to run increasing distances each day for 21 days. Okay. Now she will run x km on day 1. So let's write down day 1. She runs x km. On each subsequent day, so on day 1, day 2, she will increase the distance by 10% of the previous day. So she will run 1.1x. And then, for example, day 3, she will run 1.1 times 1.1x. And day 4, she will run 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1x. Now we can simplify this again to see what this shows. So d1 will be just x, d2 will be 1.1x, d3 will be 1.1 square x, d4 is 1.1 cube x. Now one question that I get a lot is that how is this 1.1? Why is this 1.1? Because if it's only 10%, why is this 1.1? The reason why we have to look at this in a way is, let me write this down here. So basically how we look at this is, on day 1 she runs x, so we see x as 100%. Now on day 2 she increased by 10% plus 10%, right? So it will become 110% of the initial value. So what is 110%? Now 110%, let's write down, is just 110 divided by 100, which is 1.1. That's why you have 1.1 times x. Same way, every time it's increasing by 10, you have to multiply by 1.1 to the previous value. So here you observe, what do you have? You seem to have a sequence or a series. It seems to be a geometric series where every time you're multiplying by 1.1 times 1.1 times 1.1. So basically your ratio, your R is equal to 1.1, and your first term is x, we don't know, right? X. And let's see what's next. It says on day 21 she will run 20 km. On the term 21, to day 21, she will run 20 km. So let's see how can we write this. Now if you go back to your sheet, formula sheet, for geometric sequence we have this one. So this one is the n term, so u of n term is equal to a r n minus 1. This is your n term. Replace this one back here, you will have 21 term is what? Given by, you will have a is x, we don't know, r is 1.1, n is 21 minus 1 is 20. That is equal to 20. So we have to find the value of x, which is your first term. That will be 20 divided by 1.1 power 20. Divided by 1.1 power 20. That should be 2.9, sorry, 97287. So the question is to find your, find the distance she run on day 1, which is x. So find x and give your answer in km correct to 1 decimal place. Okay, so pretty easy, 1 decimal place. So your value of x would be 3.0 km correct to 1 decimal place. Now for part 2, find the total distance she runs over the 21 days. So we have to find the sum of the 21 days. So given that we have a geometric sequence, we have to use this formula for the sum of the number of basically how much she runs, right? So let's try that. You will have S of n, that will be a times 1 minus r power n over 1 minus r. Now since you know the value of a is equal to 3, r is equal to 1.1, and n is equal to 21, we can just replace in this equation to find the corresponding value. So S of 21 is equal to a is 3, 1 minus 1.1 power this will be 21 over 1 minus 1.1. Let's see what we get. So first let's begin on the inside. 1.1 power 21 is this 1 minus answer times 3 divided by 1 minus 1.1. That should be 192 km correct to 3SF. That will be your answer for question number 4, part 2. Now let's move on to question number 5. So part 1, given that 4 tan x plus 3 cos x plus 1 over cos x equal to 0. Now, without using a calculator, it means that you have to show every step of your work, show that sin x equal to this. So we have to transform this into this one. So let's do step by step. So first thing you realize is that tan is what? Tan x is equal to sin x over cos x. So we can first replace this one in this. Let's see what happens. You have 4 sin x over cos x plus 3 cos x plus 1 over cos x equal to 0. Now you can see here we have cos, here we don't have any cos, but we want to eliminate the base. If you want to eliminate the denominator, you have to multiply by cos x everywhere. So in this case, you will have 4 sin x plus 3 cos square x plus 1 equal to 0. Now you realize here we have cos square x, but your answer needs only to be in terms of sin x, so we have to transform this into something in terms of sine. So from our list of formulas, we have this identity that we can use. Sin square x plus cos square x is supposed to give you 1. So which means cos square x is equal to 1 minus sin square x. So we replace this by this in your main equation. So you will have 4 sin x plus 3, 1 minus sin square x plus 1 equal to 0. Now you will have 4 sin x plus 3 minus 3 sin square x plus 1 equal to 0. Now simplify. We will have 4 sin x minus 3 sin square x, 3 plus 1 is plus 4 equal to 0. Now let's send everything to one side. To make this one become positive, you will have 3 sin square x minus 4 sin x minus 4 equal to 0. So as you can see, now we have an equation that we need to factorize and solve. So 2 brackets. That will be 3 sin x times sin x. 4 is 2 times 2. Now for us to get minus 4, it has to be minus 6 plus 2. Okay, so you will have 3 sin x plus 2 equal to 0, or sin x equal to 2. Now since sin x can only be between minus 1 and 1, this one will be invalid. It is outside the range. So the only value remaining will be this one. So sin x is equal to minus 2 over 3. And this is exactly what we need to show. This is shown as required. Okay, so that is part 1. Now let's move on to part 2. Hence, show all the work we have to solve this equation for this one. So this one, the only difference now is instead of having x here, we have 2x minus 20. So same thing. Instead of having x here, we just replace this by 2x minus 20. So let's do that. So this whole thing will become sine of 2x minus 20 is equal to minus 2 over 3. Now you guys must know by now, when sine is negative, your answer will be in your third quadrant and your fourth quadrant. So third quadrant is 180 plus theta, and this will be 360 minus theta. So first let's find the value of theta. Okay, so theta is equal to sine inverse of the positive value of this, so 2 over 3. So let's see what we get. It has to be in degrees, so sine inverse of 2 over 3. That will be 41.8 degrees. But we don't need, we are not looking for the value of theta. We are trying to find x. So to find this angle now, so 2x minus 20, we have to look at our quadrants. The first angle is 180 plus theta. So 180 plus 41.8 that will be 221.8. And then 360 minus theta, 41.8. That will be 318.2. Now moving forward, we have to find the value of x. So let's do that. You will have 2x is equal to what? 241.8 and 338.2. So x will be this divided by 2. 241.8 divided by 2, that should be 120.9, and 338.2 divided by 2, that should be 169.1. Here you go. We have the two values of x that we need between this range that solve this equation. And that will be your question number 5. Let's move on to question number 6. Let's see what do we have here. So we have a straight line that has a gradient of m and passes to the point 0, 2. Okay, this is a straight line. Y equal to mx plus c, where m is the gradient. Now this is x and y. Okay, for now, find the two values of m for which the line is a tangent to the curve of this. So tangent. Now for each value of m, find the coordinates of a point where the line touches the curve. Okay, so let's see how can we find this. So let's do that. So as you know, if this is a tangent to this curve, we have to use b squared minus 4ac, right? But first, let's use this point. Let's see what happens for the value of c. So you have y equal to mx plus c. If y equal to minus 2, m is a gradient, x is 0 plus c. So c is equal to minus 2. So here you will have y equal to mx minus 2. And your curve is y is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 7. So here we have y and y we can solve simultaneously. You will have mx minus 2 on one side, and you will have this on the other side. Now let's put everything together. You will have x squared minus 2x minus mx plus 9 equal to 0. Now we have to group the terms together. Now plus minus 2 minus m, that will be x, and then you will have plus 9. So as you have seen, we have to use b squared minus 4ac equal to 0 because it touches the curve at one point by the tangent. So b squared minus 4ac equal to 0. So what is b squared? This one. 4 times a times c. So you will get 4. That will be plus 4m plus m squared minus 36 equal to 0. Now simplify, you will have m squared plus 4m. 4 minus this will be minus 32 equal to 0. Now we have to factorize to find the two possible values of m. So this will be what? It can be 8 times 4. So 8 times 4. To get plus 4, we have to have plus 8 minus 4. So m can be 4, m can be minus 8. Now the question is, it says that for each value of m, find the coordinates of the point where the line touches the curve. So when m equal to 4, your line is equal to 4x minus 2. And your curve is equal to y equal to x squared minus 2x plus 7. So let's see what can we do in the equation. So if you want to solve this, let's put the value of m right here. It will become x squared. So minus minus m, that will become minus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. Now let's see what can we do. That will be x. 9 is 3 times 3. To get minus 6 has to be minus minus. So x will be 3, and the value of y will be 4 times 3 is 12 minus 2 is 10. So the point will be 310. That's the first one. And now if the value of m was minus 8, y will be equal to minus 8x minus 2. Again, same steps, you have to replace your value of m in this. You will have x squared plus, you have minus 2 minus 8, that should be plus 6. Plus 6x plus 9 equal to 0. Now if you were to factorize, that will be xx equal to 0. That will be 3 times 3 plus 6 will be plus 3 plus 3. So x will be minus 3. And what is the value of y? Y will be back in your equation. Minus 8 times x will be 24 minus 2. That will be 22. So the point in that case will be minus 3, 22. And that will be your question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. So we have functions f and g are defined by these two equations for these two domains. So part 1, let's find the range of f and find the range of g. So let's take a look at one by one. So first look at f. F of x has been given to you by this equation, 3 over 2x plus 1. For x is more than 0. So we have to find the range of f. So for example, we know that x has to go to infinity. Right? For example, let's find the minimum value possible. If x goes to infinity, it means that 2x also goes to infinity. It means that 2x plus 1 also goes to infinity. Right. Now if the base continues, the denominator continues to increase, what happens to the value of 3? It keeps going down. Right? It keeps approaching a value of, have you guessed it? So let's see. What if the value was 0? If x is 0, for example, it is never 0, so it's almost close to 0. You will have f of 0, it will be your value of 3. Okay, so that will be your value that we have for the maximum value, okay, when x is 0. Now, if this goes to infinity, if you increase the base, keep increasing, this value will be approaching the value of 0. So, by the graph or by the equation, f of x has to be between 3 is the max and 0. It is not inclusive because the value keeps decreasing close to 0 but never touches 0, and that's the max possible value but not inclusive, because 0 is not inclusive here. We can only have not inclusive. So this is your range of f. Now that is part 1. Now for part 2, we have g of x is given by 1 over x plus 2 for x is more than 0. Now the same thing, if you observe, if x keeps increasing to infinity, 1 over x, what happens to that? It keeps going to the value of 0, right? If you look at the graph, it looks like this. So here we have your y and your x, and if you keep increasing the value of x, the value of y keeps going down to the value of 2, because if this goes to 0, only 2 is going to remain, right? So this will approach the value of 2. So it means that your range of g is between, so it will be between 2, sorry, I have to write this way, and between, this one goes up, 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 never touches this one, it keeps going up, infinity. So it means that your value of g is just bigger than 2. That is your range of g of x and your range of f of x. And that is part 1 for question number 7. So always recall that whenever you're confused, you can do this, or you can draw a graph to see exactly what's happening, so you can find your range easily. Okay, that is for part 1. So find an expression for f g of x. So we know f of x is given by 3 over 2x plus 1, and g of x is given by 1 over x plus 2. Now fg of x is equal to 3 over 2 g of x plus 1. Simplify, that'll be 3 over 2 times 1 over plus 2 plus 1. That should be 3 over 2 over x plus 5. That will be fg of x. And now we have to simplify in this form, right? So let's do this. So we can rewrite this down as, so you have 3 over 2 plus 5x over x, which can be written as 3x over 2 plus 5x. And finally, we need to write this down as this form, which is 3x over 5x plus 2. That is your answer for part 2. Now, for part 3, find an expression for inverse of x and write this down as the same form in part 2. As always, we have to let y equal to f of x. That will be something like this, right? Then we have to make x become the subject of formula. xy plus 2y equal to 3x. So you have 3xy minus 3x equal to minus 2y. Now let's factorize. X outside, you will have 5y minus 3 equal to minus 2y, and then you will have x is equal to minus 2y over 5y minus 3. So finally, you have to write down f this inverse in terms of x. So that will be minus 2x over 5x minus 3. And that will be part 3 of your question number 7. Now let's move on to question number 8. The diagram shows a sector OAC, okay, with a center O. Okay, the tangents AB and CB meet at B. The tangents, so these two are the same because they are both tangents of the circle, right? Of the sector. Now, these two are radius, they are the same as well. Now, what else? So the arc AC is of length 6. This is the arc of length 6. Now, the angle has been given to you by 3 over 8 pi radians. Now, next step is to find the length of OA, correct to 4SF. So what is OA? OA is this one. OA is the radius. So how can you find the radius for this one? As you can see, we have given you the arc length is 6. So how do you find the arc length? You guys must know by now, we always use the same formula to find the arc length, which is radius times the angle is equal to arc length. Now radius we don't know, it is OA, and the angle will be 3 over 8 pi is equal to 6. Now we have to simplify. OA is equal to 6 times 8 divided by 3 pi. So 6 times 8 divided by 3 pi. That should be 5.093, correct to 4SF, right? Centimeters. That is your answer for part 1. Now for part 2, we have to find the perimeter of the shaded region. So let's go and see where is that. So this is the region we have. So we have to find the distance around. So here we have 6 already. We have to find this side and this side. How can we do that? So first you observe, what can we do to simplify our job? Is we can try to cut this one into half. So by joining O to B. Let's do that. Now we know that this side is the same as this side. Let's call this one x. So we have to first find x. How can you find the side of x? Now if you observe, you will see that you have a triangle OAB, which is a right angle triangle. Now since these two are the same, this angle will be the same as well. So if this is 3 over 8 pi, the small one will be, so let's write this down, the small one will be 3 over 8 pi divided by 2, that should be 3 over 16 pi. So here we can use SOHCAHTOA to find this side. So let's go SOHCAHTOA to see which one we need to use. So we know this length OA, which is your A side, and we are trying to find this side, which is your opposite side. We have to use tan. So tan of the angle, which is 3/16 pi, is equal to x, which is this one, over this one. OA has been found to be 5.093. So let's find the value of x. So that will be answer tan of, have to use radians, 3 pi over 16. That should be, so let me try again. So so let me do this first. So radians tan of 3 pi over 16 times 5.093. That should be 3.403, correct, to 4SF. So this is x, and this is also x because they are the same. So to find the perimeter, pretty easy now. So perimeter is the distance around. You have 6 for your arc length, and plus 3.403 plus 3.403. So let's see, what do we have? 6 plus 2 times answer, that should be 12.8 centimeters, correct, to 3SF for your perimeter. Now let's move on to part 3, where we have to find the area of this region. Now, as you have observed, and when you break this down into half, we can first find this one and then multiply by 2 to find this whole area. So let's do one by one. Let's first find the area of A. So how would you find this area of A? If you observe, the big area is area of a triangle and minus the area of sector to get this area of A. So let's do that. So A is equal to area of triangle minus area of sector. This is pretty easy. Half times base, which is 5.093, and times height, which is 3.403. Minus area of sector, half r square. R square is 5.093 square, and times the angle, which will be 3/16 pi. So let's see what is this value. So let's use your calculator for that. Let me bring back my calculator. So for my value, it should be half times 0.93 times 3.403 minus half times 5.093 square times 3 pi over 16. That should be 1.026176. So that is only the area of A, as you have seen, only one piece of the area. So we need this together, but since this and this are the same, we can just multiply by 2 to find the area. So shaded area will be this times 2. That will be 2.05, correct, to 3SF. That will be centimeter square. And that will be your answer for question number 8. Now let's move on to question number 9. We have a curve for which dy by dx equal to this passes through this point. So now we have to find the equation of the curve, which means we have to find y. So to find y from dy by dx, we have to integrate dy by dx. So let's do that. That will be 5x minus 1 power half minus 2 with respect to x. So you will have, first step is, you have to add 1 to the power, that will become 3/2, then divide by the power, and then divide by the differentiation of the inside, that will be 5, and minus 2x plus c, that is y. So now we can simplify. Y is equal to 2/15, 5x minus 1, 3/2, minus 2x plus c. Now let's use the point. We have 2 and 3. This is x and y. To find the value of c, replace, you will have 3 is equal to 2 over 15, 5 times 2 minus 1, 3 over 2 minus 2 times 2 plus c. Now simplify, you will have 3 equal to 2 over 15. That will be what? So 10 minus 1 is 9, power 1.5. That will be 27 minus 4 plus c. 2 over 15 times 27 minus 4 and 3 minus answer. That should be the value of c. So c will be 3, 2 over 5. Okay, that will be your answer for c, which is also 3.4. So the equation of line finally is given by this equation. So y is equal to 2 over 15, 5x minus 1, 3 over 2, minus 2x plus 3, 2 over 5 for your value of c. That is your equation of your curve for y. Now part 2, we have to find d2y by dx2. Since we know that dy by dx has been given to us by this equation, which is 5x minus 2, so minus 1, power half minus 2. So we can find d2y by dx2 pretty easily. That will be half times 5x minus 1, have to minus 1 here, become minus half, and then minus 0. We also have to multiply by the inside. So what is the differentiation of the inside? You would say it is 5, so we have to multiply by 5. That will become like this. So your answer is 5 over 2. And you can send this one below, but it's okay, you can just leave this up as well. Minus half. That will be d2y by dx2. This is d by dx, of course. Now for part 3, we have to find the coordinates of the stationary points on the curve. Okay, so pretty easy. As you guys must know by now, you say at stationary points, we know dy by dx has to equal to 0. And we know dy by dx has been given to us by this equation. Half minus 2 is equal to 0. Let's try to solve this. You will have 5x minus 1 power half is equal to 2, which means 5x minus 1 is equal to 4, right? You have to send this power here, becomes, so this is, for example, this is 5x minus 1 square root equal to 2. So 5x minus 1 has to be 2 square, which is 4. Now 5x has to be 4 plus 1, which is 5. X will be 5 divided by 5, which is 1. So we have the x value is 1. What is the y value? Going back to the equation, y is 2 over 15. So x is equal to 1 minus 1, 3 over 2 minus 2 times 1 plus 3, 2 over 5. So let's solve. You will have 2 over 15. That will be 4 power 3 over 2 minus 2 plus 3, 2 over 5. So 2 over 15 times 4 power 1.5 minus 2 plus 3.4. That should be 2, 7, 15. Okay, that is your point y. So basically, your stationary point will be 1 and then 2, 7 over 15. That will be your stationary point. Now to find the nature of a point, we have to use d2y by dx2. So let's do that. So nature, so we have to find d2y by dx2 at the value of x equal to 2. That will be 5 over 2, 5, 2 minus 1, power minus half. That will become 5 over 2. That will be 9 power minus half. Let's see what we get. So 9 power minus half is what? This times 5 over 2. That will be this value, 5 over 6, which means it is a positive value. So you can say since d2y by dx2 is more than 0, So the stationary point that we have found is a minimum point, sorry. That is proven by this value. Now this is your question number 9. Now let's move on to the next one. So here we have question number 10. Relative to a point O, the position vectors of A, B, C, and D are shown on the, it is given to you below. Now part 1, show that AB is perpendicular to BC. So first we have to find those two directions first. So what is AB? AB is given by OB, which is 2 minus 3, 5, minus OA, which is minus 1, 3, minus 4. That should be 3, minus 6, and 9. That is AB. Now what is BC? That will be OC, which is 4 minus 2, 5, minus OB, 2 minus 3, and 5. That should give you 4 minus 2 is 2. That will be minus 1, and this will be 0. So now, to prove that they are perpendicular, we have to use dot product. So this dot product have to give you the value of 0 if it is perpendicular. So let's try that. AB will be given by 3, minus 6, and 9. Dot product of BC, which will be 2, minus 1, and 0. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus this will be minus 6 times minus 1 should be plus 6, and this is the value of 0. So I must have made a mistake somewhere because, oh I see, yep, I made a mistake here. Minus 2 minus minus 1 should be plus 1, so plus 1. So this should be minus 6. So 6 minus 6 should be 0. So here you go. This is how you prove that it is perpendicular. Shown as required. Now for part 2, show that ABCD is a trapezium. So how can you show it is a trapezium? You have to show that these two sides are parallel with each other. So we know AB already. AB is given by this, which is 3 minus 6, 9. It is equal to, let's take out 3, you will have 1, minus 2, and 3. This is AB. So we have AB in this direction. We have to find DC. So what is DC? DC will be OC, which is 4 minus 2 and 5, minus OD. OD is 2, 2, 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. This will be minus 4, and this will be 4. Is it right? I think so. Now, this is OC. Okay, I think I made a mistake because this is minus 1 in OD. 2, 2 minus 1. So that will be 2. That should be 6. Okay, so that is DC. Now if you take out 2, you will have 1, minus 2, and 3. So if you observe, this inside is the same as the inside. It means that DC is a multiple of AB in the same direction. By showing this is the inside, which is the same direction. By showing this, we prove that it is a trapezium. Okay. Now let's move on to part number 3. So find the area of the trapezium. So to find the area, what do we need to find? We have to find this two length and this height. Because the formula for area of trapezium is half times sum of parallel sides, which is AB plus DC, and times the height, which is BC. So we have to find this length. Okay, so one by one. First, let's find the length of AB. AB has been given to us by 3 minus 6, 9. So the length of AB is equal to square root. That will be 9 plus 36 plus 81. That'll be 126. Okay, next one. What is the length of DC? Given to us by 2 minus 4 and 6. So DC will be root of 4 plus 16 plus 36. That'll be 4 plus 16 plus 36. That will be 5, 6. And finally, we need to find the length of BC, which is the height. BC has been found to be 2, 1, 0. So BC magnitude will be 2 squared is 4 plus 1 plus 0, which is root of 5. So finally, using those values, we can find the area of trapezium, which is half, times sum of parallel sides. So these two sides will be root of 126 plus root of 56, and times the perpendicular height. Let's see what we get. So half times root of 126 plus root of 56 times root of 5. We have to give your answer correct to 2 decimal place. That will be 20.92. That will be units square. And that will be your question. Let's move on to question number 11. So here we have a graph. Shows a shaded region bounded by the y-axis and the line y equal to 1. This is the y-axis and the line y equal to 1. And part of the curve y, which is given to you right here. For this x more than minus 2. So part 1 is pretty easy. We have to express this equation in the form of this. So this means we just have to complete the squares to make it look like this. So let's do that. So first step is to write this down as it is. So we first have to check the coefficient of x squared. It is 1. So now we can proceed to step number 2. Step number 2 is to rewrite this, the first two, and then we have to add something, add a number. So this number will be, you have to take this number right here, which is 4, divided by 2, square, plus 3. Now when you add something, you have to minus the same thing, okay? You will have to minus the same number. Now we can simplify. That will be x squared plus 4x plus 2 inside square and plus 3 minus 2 square. Now this will become a complete square form. So that will be x become x, minus plus become plus. Here we have 2, we have to write 2. And here we have square, we have to write square. And here we have 3 minus 4, that will be minus 1. So y is equal to this equation, just like in this form, right? Now the next step is we have to express x in terms of y. So we have to make x become the subject of formula. So first step is to send 1 over here. You will have 1 plus y equal to x plus 2 square. Now x plus 2 is equal to plus minus square root of y plus 1. Now moving forward, x is equal to minus 2 plus minus plus 1. But now you can see that x has to be more than minus 2. Because of that, we have to have x is equal to minus 2 plus y plus 1. And that will be your answer for part 1, expressing x in terms of y. And now to find the volume of the curve, we have to use our formula. So volume about the y-axis is equal to integration of pi x squared by dy. Now from part 1 we have seen that the value of x is equal to minus 2 plus root of y plus 1. Now we have to find x squared. So x squared will be minus 2 plus root of x plus 1 square. Now let's expand this to see what happens. So that will be 4 minus 4 y plus 1, and that will become plus y plus 1. Now let's simplify. You will have 4 plus 1 is 5, minus 4, we can rewrite this as y plus 1 power half plus y. Okay, so let's simplify now. Let's put this one back in your equation. So volume will be equal to, we can take out pi, it is only a multiple. You will have integration of 5 minus 4y plus 1 power half plus y dy. Now let's try to integrate this. So pi is pi. So 5 will become 5x, so 5y because it is pi dy. So 5y minus 4 is only a multiple. So power, we have to increase the power by 1 first. You will have 3 over 2. Divide by 3 over 2. Then plus y squared over 2. That is between the limits of, you have to look at your graph. You will see that the limits is between 3 and minus 1. So that is your limits for this integration. Now using that, we have to replace the value of y one by one, right? So first one, y will be 3. You have 5 times 3 is 15 minus, that will be 8 over 3. That will be 4, 3 power 2 plus 9 over 2. That's the when y equal to 3. Now minus when y equal to minus 1. That will be minus 5 minus 8 over 3. That will be 0 plus 1 over 2. Now let's simplify to see what happens. Pi will be outside. And what does this one become? So let's try. First, let's simplify this one. 4 power 3 over 2. So 3 over 2, that should be 8. So we have minus 8 over 3 times 8. 15 minus this answer. So plus this one should be this plus 9 over 2. That should be minus 1, 5, 6. Now minus, what does this one become? Minus 5 plus half. That should be minus 4.5. Now let's solve this. Minus 1 over 5 over 6 plus 4 over 1 over 2. That should give you 2 over 3 pi. So finally your volume of this shape will be, volume will be 8 over 3 pi units cube. And that is your answer for question number 11. So that was the last question of this paper. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.